Okay, we've got Gene Homerud with the Coalition of Arizona Bicyclists, an advocacy group statewide in Arizona, and we've got Kerry Wilcoxon, traffic engineer with the City of Phoenix Street Department. How you guys doing?
Good.
Hi, Nick.
Good.
Sorry, Gary. No, I'm Gene. Hi.
I'm Kerry.
And hey, we wanted to talk about what makes Phoenix a bike-friendly city. And if I don't know if it even has that reputation. I actually got turned on to this by somebody saying, nobody realizes that Phoenix is a bike-friendly city. What do you think about that?
Well, I can say the City of Phoenix has been promoting and helping the last several years. I've worked with Kerry officially, and at the same time I teach classes. I'm a league cycling instructor out of the League of American Bicyclists for the coalition. And we proceed to make Phoenix and riding safer along the way. No, we're not perfect. There are other communities in the valley that do have rated as actually friendly communities by the league, but we're striving for that too.
So you're rated. How are you rated?
Phoenix is not, but other communities in the valley have, I forget the particular numbers.
I think Scottsdale and Tempe are listed as official bike-friendly cities.
I think Glendale and either Gilbert or Chandler.
Yeah, it might be as well.
So why not Phoenix?
It's a great question. We've got, speaking from the city of Phoenix, we've probably in the last 10 years really started to try and incorporate bicycling into our sort of our master plan for transportation, really. We've got the roads, we've got the street grid that allows us to pretty much go anywhere by bike. What we've really been lacking, I think, has been the advocacy, and really on the governmental level. We have had a bike coordinator for a while, but that position was recently cut as budget cuts took hold. We had wanted as a long-term plan, actually in the short term as well. We had been looking at getting bike-friendly status, and that was just one of the things that fell victim to the budget cuts. Mm-hmm. But that being said, we still have, depending on who you ask, we still have certain parts of the community that are probably more bike-friendly or bike-aware than others.
And what do you mean?
It can vary by council district a little bit too.
Absolutely.
To be fair, citywide financial crisis been going on for about a year, and it really kind of hit earlier this year, and that hit, and nationwide that's been the case. So you can't point a finger at Phoenix saying that they're not still trying. Mm-hmm. Some of the things that we have done, Kerry talked about the grid. We're talking about bike lanes and bike paths. Along the canals are pretty good. There's one called the ACDC, Arizona Diversion Channel. I forget what the 1C is. They've really got about at least 20 miles long, and it has underpasses under all the streets along the way. The trail goes a little bit farther than that, but some of those you do have to stop and wait for traffic. The Valley Metro bus system, every bus has a rack that holds 2 or 3 bikes, and averaging more than a million loadings per year.
Okay.
All the systems.
That sounds good.
Our light rail that started up this last December, it's like 21 miles. It's a starter system of great plans of 60 some odd miles. They're very, very bike friendly. And that's not just because they put my picture on the front of the safety brochure.
Your
I write
picture?
it myself regularly, and there's bikes, half the time the racks are full, and there's still more people holding bikes. In fact, we actually have 4 racks per vehicle, which is twice the federal standard.
Can I ask why is your picture on the racks? Is that like an
happened to be in
advertisement?
the right place at the right time. There was a conference called Friends of Transit. It was held about 6 months before it opened, 8 or 9 months before it opened, at the light rail facility, and they promised rides in the maintenance facility. And I normally ride whenever I can anyway, and it's about 8-9 miles from my home. And so I pedaled in that day, and somebody had a camera when I was standing there, and they emailed me the image. And when light rail people themselves, by this time they had heard me say several times how important bicycling is to possible customers, and they sent me an email saying, mind if we use your picture? And I said, no.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
It was about that same time Kerry said to me in a meeting, you're famous. I said, huh?
Oh. Steve here has a question.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Steve has a question.
Bike lanes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like to think that our advocacy and the education that I'm intentionally involved in, make bicycling better in the valley, and Phoenix in particular.
Yeah, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the league.
Yeah, League of American Bicyclists. It actually started about 1870 as the League of American Wheelmen. Remember the big bikes with the giant wheels?
Yeah, the penny
the
farthings?
name wheelman is got to be used for people that used it. And they were lobbying and getting roads built between cities that could be used for these bicycles, being needing a little bit different type of road than the horse-drawn carts and things like that were going on. And some 20 years later, this newfangled device came over and kind of took over the roads from us. It's kind of been reconstituted a little bit, but we do have that. We lobby Washington, D.C. I've been to D.C. twice.
Talking about the
Other
horseless
people have been
carriage.
doing that for at least 5 years. Particular issues before Congress. Congressman Blumenauer of the Portland area, Portland, Oregon, is the leader of that. And, that's worthwhile. But along the way, there was a John Allen that put together a class at Massachusetts Institute of Technology called Effective Cycling. And he published a book and was teaching this class, and the league picked up on it. We've departed, so to speak. The league has gone its own way. But it looks at accident, we don't like that word, collision statistics, injuries reported, how they happened, who was at fault, what the cyclist was doing, and we incorporate, how to avoid these and techniques, make it safer for you. For example, do you know the best way to start a quick right turn?
The best way to start a quick right turn?
Mm-hmm. Turn your handlebars to the left.
Huh.
That's going to lean you to the right, and then, of course, you follow.
Huh.
It's the lean that turns. Handlebars are only there for setting balance. And setting, the result of balance is a lean.
You knew that, Steve?
Or straight. And if you do get it into a lean to get the turn to actually occur. And so to get a lean to the right real quickly, you do a quick turn to the left and then follow around. And we also have a quick stop maneuver, and we have what's called a rock dodge. These are things that after all the anticipating and all of the knowledge of laws and what motorists and what cyclists should do, if somebody flat out turns right in front of you at the last incident, these maneuvers will either prevent a collision or certainly drastically reduce your risk.
Wow, and that's counterintuitive.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, we teach that.
Very similar to motorcycle driving as well. You, when you're at a high enough speed or just a reasonable speed, you lean kind of the opposite, or you actually turn your wheel the opposite way, and the rotation of the tires pulls you through or pulls you into the turn.
This could be something that everybody knows but me.
Gotcha. Well, you're actually doing it. You may not realize it. It's just as you learn, oh yeah, this gets me. No, a lot of people, when you make a normal turn, you're anticipating the corner or wherever it is you're going to turn, and you start a lean just naturally, and then the lean gets you there. This maneuver we call the quick turn is when you suddenly realize you've got to do something right now, and so we accentuate the process, hasten the process. And
so you do like
also
drills?
involved in rail safety and advocacy, especially. I talked about the light rail, but at the same time, crossing tracks. There's a lot of bumpy rail crossings out there, and approaching those at 90 degrees is a safe way to do it. There are modern crossings that have, they're smooth concrete. They have narrow flange gaps. The flange gaps is where the inside of the rail wheel extends down deeper, long runs on the inside of the rail. When you cross the road, you have to leave gaps in the pavement for that flange that's on the train wheel to get through. Getting a wheel caught in a flange gap, you will meet the ground. So that's the reason for a bad railroad crossing to go at 90 degrees. But these modern ones that I just mentioned are a little bit better, and federal specs vary something like 45 degrees and 60 degrees. I've seen literature. You can get by, not going at right angle, but if your wheel drops down into that groove, you will meet the pavement, and so we teach that. Also, hold your pedals level, raise up slightly off the seat so that your knees are taking the bumps. Now that also applies to variations in pavement. It applies to cattle guards. It applies to potholes. So all these techniques.
Yeah.
I mean, the same technique is going to help you in all these conditions.
I think I do that one. Okay. So if somebody wants to take this course, they can. Is it expensive? Is it reasonable?
It varies. We used to give it free with a membership. Membership was like $35. Recently, we got, or just about a year ago, we got some grants, and so last term, and I hope again this fall, winter, we'll be offering it without charge.
And it's available across the country too, probably.
Yeah. Now those were the Coalition Arizona Bicyclist numbers. What the charges are at other locations, you can actually go to bikeleague.org, and there's an education link, and then you can search by state to find out who is putting on the classes.
Okay. So I think we might have gotten into a little bit of a detour, or I mean, I guess that's all about how Phoenix is bike friendly.
Sure.
Do we want to
Okay.
get back to how Phoenix is bike friendly and in relation to? I mean, I think in your email you said there's a lot of advocates on the city council, for one thing. Is that true?
I'm thinking Stanton, but he took another position recently.
Yeah.
Kerry, are you up to date on that?
So I know that Simplot has been also
Simplot,
been a
yeah.
pretty good bike advocate. He's got the district that's in the Tom Simplot is the name of the councilman. He's got the district in the central part of the city.
Mayor Gordon himself is
Mayor Gordon as well. Yeah.
Right,
fact,
and sometimes.
They both participated in the Bike to Work days periodically.
Oh, that's another thing. Bike to Work week.
Mm-hmm.
You just had a Bike to Work week.
Yeah, we do ours a little bit sooner than the rest of the country, but and I'd like to say, there's like 360 days of good weather in Arizona, and you may say, yeah, well, but 3 months of it is over 100 degrees. Well, before I retired, I commuted 2 to 3 days a week, and summertime, wintertime, both. The only difference is how charged up I needed to have my battery, so I had light to and from.
Well, Kerry, you're in the sort of the decision making body, right? I don't know if they're decision making, but you have a lot of influence, I would imagine, or some influence.
I think some influence is probably the best way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
I won't hold you to that, Kerry.
Yeah.
So what do you? Yeah.
We were the bike advocate for the city or for the street department. Used to work for me, and before his position was cut, and I do bike to work occasionally. I bike down. I'm one of the people who started biking once the metro opened up. I'll bike down about 4 miles from my house to the metro line and catch that. But we've been trying to look at in our street grid improving connectivity with among the bike lanes. The goal before the budget cuts and still to some extent, the goal is to be able to develop a more formal grid system for our bike paths, so that, for instance, if I wanted to go, if I was new to Phoenix and wanted to go to someplace uptown or wherever, anywhere in Phoenix, I'd go to Google Maps or Yahoo Maps and type in my destination, my starting point, my destination, and it would plot out a course for me, roads that I can take to get to wherever I wanted to go. But it assumes that I'm traveling by car. What I'd ultimately like to be able to do is have something similar to that, but for bike routes,
right,
or for bike trips, where you could go to the city grid map and say, hey, I live in this part of town, I want to go to this part of town, how do I bike there? And be reasonably certain that the map that's printed out will be able to give you a course that is a contiguous bike path, whether it uses the surface streets, the trails, or the canals. You'd be able to go from point A to point B in a convenient manner.
Sounds great.
Yeah. I mean, you need obviously two parts to that, but the most important part, as far as we're concerned, is just having the street grid system laid out, having the bike lanes present, and having them maintained to the point where they're not the dumping grounds for all the road debris. Those things are, we're getting there, but we've got a ways to go.
I believe Google Maps, I heard about this at this last March in D.C. They're extending it to mass transit, where they will work with the individual operations of the bus systems, and they'll put those in. And there was a hint that bicycling could be included.
Right. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Do you guys have an active bike activist community in Phoenix like we do in LA? Like people who are pushing for for more of these these things for bikers'
Well,
rights? And
part of what we do in the coalition, and there's other organizations. There's Arizona Bicycling Club, ABC, they call it. They're mostly in the Valley, Phoenix and surrounding cities. There's Phoenix Metro. They're the one that they put on rides. There's one called Tempe Bicycle Action Group, TBAG for short. They're quite active. They also have a bike saviors, they call it. They recycle bike parts into usable bicycles for people that are, shall we say, economically challenged.
yeah, I think we might actually talk to Patrick Leahy from that group.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Yeah, I've got a bunch of parts in my garage that I want to get to them.
Okay.
So, and we've talked to the state legislature. There was an effort this last spring to revamp the state laws, and of course the state laws are filtered to the cities too. So what's done at the state level shows up in the cities. A few things like the 3-foot passing rule that we have. We're going to strengthen that, and we're going to allow that the two-way lane, the two-way left turn lanes that you see in streets. Normally, using that to pass another vehicle is verboten, but for an motor vehicle to achieve the 3-foot clearance of a passing bicyclist or riding bicyclist, they could use the two-way left turn. Assuming that somebody wasn't stopped in it waiting to make a left turn or was just coming in.
Yeah.
If it was available, then you could use it.
So this is a way of bicyclists to use the left turn? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, bicyclists can do that normally when they're making turns. No, we're just saying that when a bicyclist is going along the road, a motor vehicle is supposed to leave at least 3 feet clearance. That's from the left edge of my mirror as a cyclist to the right edge of his right mirror, 3-foot clearance to pass. And of course, that's really a bare minimum. But that's what's in the state law. Now, sometimes roads are too narrow to do that, in which case the bicyclist does have the right to the whole lane. Now, one particular exception, what we tried to get put in was that should there be a two-way left turn lane, you know what those are, right?
A two-way left turn lane. Is that where you go left and the person coming opposite you?
Yeah, they're marked by a solid line, then a dashed line, but on both sides.
Okay.
And whatever direction you can use it to make a left turn, or to leave the road or to come back into the road, make a left turn. Well, normally you're not supposed to use those two-way left turn lanes to pass a car in the same direction that you're going. Well, the exception we were asking for would allow a motorist to use that to move over a little bit to give the bicyclist the safe distance, 3 feet or hopefully more.
Okay.
If it's an 18-wheeler, I'd like at least 5 feet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Steve has a question.
Yeah. Hello, guys.
Hi.
I'm Steven, Nick's
Right.
co-host. One thing you mentioned earlier in the conversation was that in many of the buses in Phoenix, they can accommodate 4 bikes on their bike rack.
The light rail
has
4 racks per vehicle, and a light rail train consists of 1, 2, or 3 vehicles, depending upon time of day and expected load. The buses have a rack out front. Some hold 2 bikes, some hold 3 bikes. There was originally 2, and I think they're just evolving to 3 on all bikes.
Yeah, LA here, we can only accommodate 2 on our buses, and that's sometimes a cause for a little bit of frustration.
I think only once have I been caught where the rack was already full.
That's good. And your picture's on it, which is also good.
No, that was a light rail.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So,
yeah, well, the light rail, if there's room in the entry area, you can also stand with your bike, in addition to the 4 racks that are on there.
Mm-hmm.
so what other things do you wanna get out there about Phoenix and biking, or about the League of American League of Bicyclists?
Well, and get some appreciation here to Kerry. One of his staff invited me to do a little review of the light rail extensions and rework the current going, the bike lanes near the light rail is what I'm trying to say. They have improved things. Somebody designed something and it was plopped in the laps of the city. And we had several suggestions, and most of which have been accepted. So I'm glad to see that happening. And
So they're open. They're really open to the advocates.
Yeah. Kerry mentioned about, we had a bicycle pedestrian coordinator. I'd like to see full advocacy committee, either at the mayor or at the council level.
Yeah, that would be ideal, I think. I also just want to mention too we deal with a lot of neighborhood groups, a lot of advocacy groups, and so there's a lot of competition there. But the bike advocacy groups have been usually pretty consistent, and for a lot of the street work that we're doing, Phoenix does have a great grid system, and our streets are pretty wide open. All of our new arterial streets, our cross sections, are designed with room for bike lanes. A lot of our collector streets, or our medium-sized streets, are also that way. But the biggest problem that we have right now is trying to take a city that's grown up basically around the car, the automobile, and try and retrofit not only bicycle lanes into the street grid, but really a way of thinking for most drivers of what I'm sharing the road with bikes, and it's sometimes a daunting task. We take a look every year at our bike crashes, and I guess the good news is that our bike crashes are actually down for the last 3 calendar years.
What do you attribute that to?
Well, the missing piece of information. I mean, I could say that it's attributed to better awareness,
design,
like that, better street systems. But one of the problems in our analysis is we don't know what the number of bicyclists on the road at any given time are. So we don't know whether it's actually dropping because there are fewer bicyclists or because there are fewer bicyclists being hit. But we are seeing a drop.
Great. Yeah, I got to take a look at that data. You asked me to do some review.
Yeah, we're hoping that it's a harbinger of good things. And we have about 33,000 crashes on city streets each year of all types of vehicles. But for the last year that we have data for, 440 of those crashes were actually car-bike. But for obvious reasons, even though there are relatively very few crashes between bicyclists and cars, the overwhelming majority of bicycle crashes end up in an injury or a death to a bicyclist. So
it's not exactly equal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and of course, you see the same thing with pedestrians as well. But what we're trying to figure out is how to use the crash data in such a way that we can educate drivers and bicycle riders for the most part on how to protect themselves and how to be better road users.
Yeah, the last study I saw pretty well that Joseph presented to us. I did come up with a question that because you had it broken up by month and a lot of breakdown of data. Mm-hmm. But I was wondering the fact of, because our lightness, hours of darkness and hours of daylight, vary specifically across the commute times, between winter and summer, how much that affected it, and I'm not sure that was captured.
Yeah, I don't know that it was. It'd be relatively easy to capture. Because we can track the average sun up, sundown times, and as it changes. Yeah, which is pretty well known on a day-by-day basis throughout the year. Yeah, right. But it seems like in most cases, in most years, the high bike crash months are going to be April, March, September, October. The high crash days are going to be during the middle of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And your crash times are going to be morning and afternoon commute, when you have the most number of both bicyclists and cars on the road. But
the months you mentioned are the calmest in terms of temperature. I mean, it never really gets that cold. Rarely gets that cold.
Yeah.
In the winter, but still people, it's spring, it's great, we'll ride. And then in the fall, I'm glad the heat's over. Let me ride, do a little bit of riding.
Right.
And, but the data I think you have is pre, $5 gasoline charges.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that. We just got the 2008 crash data, and it'll be interesting to see what the effect is. Of the higher gas prices.
Well, what's the $5?
A couple of radio stations here in Phoenix. I was directed to answer a few questions on air, and it was right at the time where all these new more bicyclists are on the roads. How are we sharing? So.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing to keep in mind is when we get whenever we get a downturn in the economy, all crashes go down. Car crashes are down as well, although not as we're still getting over 30,000 crashes.
Yeah. Let's try to keep them down and pump the economy at the same time.
Well, that's right.
Why is that? Right. Okay. Why?
I'd go for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Steve, that's the last question. You want to keep going, or?
Well, let's see. I don't have anything right on the top
I got something. Are there cities that you follow in terms of bike infrastructure or advocacy, like models? And is there something about your city that you feel that others should follow?
It's a great question. I guess I would say that when we look at bike advocacy, the places I look for, I think about, are Portland, Washington area, and Portland and the state of Washington, and the areas up in the northwest part of the country. I think when you look at city planning, people tend to kind of look to the northeast, where you have cities that are actually set up with the density that you can use bikes as a more viable daily transportation alternative. But you really have a lot of things going on. It's hard to actually look at a city and say we want to be like that. But I would say that right now, we are trying to work our work bikes into our street grid as best we can. But we're really looking, I think, at the cities of Tempe and Scottsdale as far as
nearby
local models.
Yeah. Recently did 15th Avenue there, and a month or so after it was opened, I pedaled literally the whole length. One of my rental houses is a block away, and so I had an opportunity. I took the whole thing, and it was nice.
Yeah, that's good.
It was a half section street. We talk about the main grid is everything's on a mile basis, and the half section street, so-called collector street, half mile between the main streets. 15th Avenue is one of them, and so although it does have a good amount of traffic, it's got to be thousands of cars a day, but it's not the 4-lane boulevard that some of the section streets are.
Yeah.
So it was able to have a lane, two-way left turn lane, a motor vehicle lane, and a bike lane on each side. And you probably haven't, still probably collecting accident or collision statistics on that app, aren't you?
We are. Although it's kind of interesting. We've probably put more bike lanes in Phoenix. Where we're retrofitting them. We probably put more of them in the last few years as a result of traffic calming than as a direct response to, hey, let's put a bike lane here. We use bike lanes quite a bit to eat up pavement, where otherwise you would have a 19, 20-foot lane. You can put a bike lane in, and it cuts it down to, not only does it cut it down by 5 feet, something like 15 feet, but it also forces traffic away from the sides of the road, and it really defines where cars and bikes and to some extent pedestrians need to be. So we've used that technique in a lot of places, and as a result, the bike trail or bike route grid has really expanded.
You didn't do it just for us? I'm kidding.
I'd like to think that, but...
Yeah. You touched on a question that Nick asked me when we talked a couple of days ago, encouraging to ride farther out into the street, because people tend to change lanes farther back. If you're hunched up against the curb, all you're doing is encouraging the motor vehiclist to pass you when there is not enough lane closer to you and where there's not enough space to do it safely.
Right.
When you're out there and claim your legal part of the road, people recognize that.
Claim your
of course,
space.
wearing bright clothes and being very obvious and consistent is part of the equation too.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, maybe we should have a segment where we talk about all of the stuff that you can learn in one of your courses, Gene.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that like next week or something.
Okay.
Or something.
We actually do that one live. But,
oh yeah, that'd be great. So
I think at this point.
Yeah. Well, let's talk. And I also, so do you guys have any, we call them shout outs. That means like people you want to thank. I guess you might know that.
Well, I'd like to thank the biking community in Phoenix. I think they've really changed the discussion. As I indicated, Phoenix has really been set up as an automobile city, and the biking community has been shouting from the rooftops for some time that we want a place.
Recognition, we're a legitimate form of transportation, and
right.
And well, we're talking to the choir here, but 10-year-old kids that have diabetes because their mothers drive them to school, and then their mothers go to gyms and ride stationary bicycles.
Yeah.
let that one wash over you for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great. Things are improving. I'd like to see the police have enough time to enforce things like night lights and riding the wrong way on streets.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
But
you're talking about bicyclists riding the wrong way down streets?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the great things that is going on, there's a bike path near where I live called Highline Bike Path, and it's 6-7 miles long, and it's the very first one that was put together in Phoenix. The city did hire a consultant, and he designed a very nice parkway that talks about pedestrians, it talks about there's park benches for it, and some of the other things. And some of the construction is in progress. There's one place where an arroyo crossed the bike path to a canal, and this arroyo drained from South Mountain near where I live. And so in the rainy season, couldn't use the bike path for a little while, though. They're actually ameliorating that now. And have you heard the status of this project, Kerry?
I haven't. I know that Joe is working out some of the details. In fact, I think he is in his new position. I think he is working on that project as one of the project managers.
Ah, great.
But Joe is our old bike advocate.
Right, and an avid cyclist himself.
Yeah, pretty avid. But that's going to be a good project when it gets done.
And I'm sure we said the budget thing has hit this as well.
Yeah, can't last forever though.
Oh, right.
Okay, so guys, I want to follow up, and I want to keep up with this, and I want to put any articles you have on our page at KPFK.
Oh, super.
And
well, I can give you our URL, the coalition. It's www.cazbike.org. The C, of course, stands for coalition, and the AZ is Arizona Bike.org. I already talked about the BikeLeague.org. That's the League of American Bicyclists.
Mm-hmm.
And the City of Phoenix has a URL or two, doesn't it, Kerry?
We do. www.phoenix.gov.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, both of you, Kerry and Gene.
Thank you for calling us.
And check out the podcast on KPFK next week, and we'll be in touch as much as possible.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks,
All right.
Kerry.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good
And
day.
Steve.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.